Hey y'all, my name is Tamra Andress. I am your Fit and Faith podcast host. I'm pumped to be here. Just me, no words, no scripts, no intros, no outros. I love authenticity. I hope to breed vulnerability. And I usually do this alongside another dreamer, mover, shaker, entrepreneur, passionista is what I love to call them. If you're a dude, then a dude. But I am loving just coming together in community with other people to share their high and low stories, to share their journeys to comeback, because I believe ultimately that's where God would have us. He would have us on the mountaintop. And even though we learn a ton in the pit and in the valley, God would want us right now, especially in this season of life, in this time of our culture, to shine. And so here I am. I want to teach you how to shine. I want to be alongside you when you get your glow. I want to catapult you into your calling, whatever that is. So this isn't a fitness podcast. This is not a religious banter, though we preach Jesus all day long. And this is not just about nutrition or health or wealth, though I like some green, and I know you do too. It's not okay for us to not be okay with talking about all of these things in unison. You guys, we don't just need a mental health podcast. We don't just need a fitness podcast. We don't just need a religious, spiritual podcast. It needs to blend. This is what Fit and Faith is all about. It's all about creating alignment, connectivity. It's about pursuing your wholeness and claiming it over your life and over the lives of the loved ones that you have around you in your community. So thank you for tuning in. I would love to get to know you more. You can like, review, subscribe, whatever it is. Send me an email, DM me. It's me. I have an amazing team alongside me, but you guys are getting me for now. So enjoy. I'm so pumped to have a coffee conversation with you, is what I'd love to call them. Don't have my coffee right now, but I have it in my system, as you can see. All the love. Let's do this together and keep going for your dreams, y'all. So you guys, we are vacationing. I am. She's home in Wilmington right now, and I could not miss this opportunity to share with you one of my nearest and dearest friends. So dear, in fact, that she was literally 9 months pregnant and walked down the aisle in a bikini at my wedding.
Oh my God.
So you know you're a good friend when.
So, yeah.
You walk down the aisle and you're 9 months pregnant in a bikini.
Scary.
And so we go way back to our college girl days, JMU Duke Dog.
Oh yeah, so fun.
And she's just continued to be somebody that I can consider one of those people that I could ask to be a bridesmaid today if I got remarried to my same husband, because I love him so much, of course. But we've grown in such dramatic ways over the course of the last, how long has it been?
I know, it's crazy. It's been like
15
11
years.
Oh no, 12. Yeah.
We're old.
It's crazy.
Because we were like,
I'm like,
19.
how old's my dog?
I know, little mama.
11 years old. So it's like
13 or 14
something.
years.
Isn't that crazy?
That's really cool. So we're about to have our friend anniversary then. To 15 years, we got to do something epic. That would be like 1 or 2 years ago. So I'm going to introduce you to Jenna McPeak Cole.
Yeah.
That was her maiden name, and I think she's still on my phone as that, but I love you, Nick. You're a part of her for sure. So I don't even know where to start, because when I get to podcast with friends that are like family, I could go anywhere, which is so exciting and also really horrible.
Scared. I was like, wait, where are we gonna go with this? I have no idea.
And so that's the cool part. You guys know, if you're an avid listener to the Fit and Faith podcast, that I don't script. I don't ask questions. I don't probe questions. I don't really prepare them whatsoever, to the point where I've had some people on, they've come into the office and they're like, oh, this is on camera. This is live.
I had no idea. Well, I mean, I knew, but I just didn't know the extent of, okay, I'm actually going to be in
there's
front of you
lights,
guys.
camera, action.
I knew that, but
So she's here, and I'm so excited. And I want you to jump in from the place of, sharing with people really your most recent journey, because I feel like that's going to just touch people in such a crazy way. And it impacts you as an individual. It's impacted our friendship, but it's also impacted you as a wife and a mom and the role you play in your community. So tell us about Jenna.
So I know this is so crazy, because I'm like, where do I start as far as the journey of living here?
Yeah, that's a good
Wilmington.
Because she left me. We were in Virginia Beach.
I was, yeah, and then we moved here, and it kind of everything went crazy. So I moved here with a 2-week-old baby in the car, and I know, it's like so crazy. I'm like, how do we even get here? 2-week-old baby in the car, moved into a new house. And
second baby. So
second baby,
another
yes.
baby too.
Yes, he was 5. And moved here, and we were trying to just figure out, okay, what's the next plan? Like, we're here, but now what do? We need to meet new people, and we need to just start living our lives and making friends and starting work and everything.
Really.
Yeah, just to start over, but it was so exciting. So had a baby, and then I don't know if I go into like the health stuff or like, because it was a little crazy.
Yeah,
like,
it was crazy. I mean, you guys launched a restaurant.
Well, that was after. So
it
so the
was.
conversation was, okay, we're starting a restaurant. So that was exciting. My husband's always wanted to do this. It's something that's been a dream of his, and he had friends in Virginia Beach that already opened up one, and the opportunity arose where we had a killer location. And so while we were living here, you know, we moved, September.
Yeah.
And this has been like a talk for months, you know, like
Yeah.
this was like all underway, but it was a lot behind the scenes.
Yeah,
so we had to, you know, all that stuff's going on. I'm still working, you know, I have my job, and then I've got like my 2 little kiddos. So in this summer comes around, and things are really starting to take off with the restaurant. Like we're starting to get approvals. We know we can start doing build outs and like all this exciting stuff's going on. I remember the day we came downtown for lunch, and we got the news that the city okayed us to open. Huge for Wrightsville Beach, because it's very hard. So got the news, and that same day I had gone to see it was the same day I had an ultrasound. Yeah. And I was like, a couple days prior, that same week, I had felt, I guess because I was breastfeeding for so long, like you kind of get to know your boobs pretty well. You know what I mean?
Right?
But it had been like 3 months since I'd stopped, but I still like, things were still changing, all that stuff. So one random night, I was like feeling them. I don't normally do that often, but I was. And I felt a little knot, like a little lump. And I was like, this is not normal. And I had Nick feel it, and I was like, well, this is really weird. And he was like, we'll just make an appointment, like go see your OBGYN, go see your OBGYN if you ever feel not, you never know. I didn't know. I was like, who do I call? Like my regular doctor or whatever. So made an appointment, and I was supposed to even work travel that week. And I had this like weighing weird feeling, like something isn't right, but it's not like I felt like physically I was like fine, whatever.
It was like a gut feeling. My gut feeling, like intuition, like so I went OBG, she was like, go get an ultrasound just to be safe. Okay, cool. So that same week, I literally call every single day. They were like, okay, I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'm like, I can't wait 2 weeks, like for some I'm like, I need the answer now. We all we're all like, we want it now. So I call, like I would call him multiple times a day. It was crazy. I was like, I need to get in. This is just weird. So I go that same day, I'm meeting Nick for lunch. I go that morning, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to get an ultrasound. And so I went and had the ultrasound done. And the lady there was like, I just got back from a breast cancer sort of conference type thing. And she was like, you know, looking at my ultrasound, she's like doing her thing, and she was like, I can guarantee you that this is just a fibroid adenoma, which is totally benign, like, no worries, girl. Like, you're good to go. And it was like that confident. Like, I was like, okay. Oh, okay. And so kind of like going back in time, in October, we moved here in September. So in October, I had felt a lump, but I was breastfeeding. It was the opposite boob. So I was like, and that point I was, and this all happened. So I kind of knew the drill. And I was like, this is weird. Like, I went to get it checked, and they were like, it's fine, like it's no big deal, but I was freaking out. Like I was like, this is so scary, because I was like Googling things. I was like, I've got like something's happening. Google. You know what I mean? Like, of course, and like just naturally, it's like hard to not freak out about the health stuff. Right? And I just had a baby. And it just crazy. So I started like, I started to learn from that experience to not freak out. And it's so hard to do, but not to freak out. I was like, don't freak out, because last time I did, everything was fine. So everything's fine.
So I'm in the ultrasound place. I'm like, don't freak out. Like, what are they seeing? What are they doing? You know, you don't know. And they were like, it's fine. You're good. I'm like, go home. Yeah. Good girl. Nothing. Fine. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay. But I left and I just didn't feel like when I left the first time when that scare happened. Yeah. I was like, I'm great. Like, good. I'm good. Yeah. This time I left and I was like, I don't feel okay. Yeah. Like, something isn't right. I don't know what it was. So, anyways, it was weird. So, like, a week later, it was my mom Mason's birthday. Yeah. And even at his birthday party, I was like, this is very weird. I was, like, taking it in very differently. Like, I was like, this could be, like, my last birthday. And I'm thinking these things, and I'm very matter of fact. I'm very, like, level-headed. Right, like, I'm just... I don't put these thoughts in my head. Right. Like, it was very weird.
You're really good at, like, maintaining your levels.
I'm like, I am very, like, even
realistic. And yes, definitely.
And so I was like, this is just weird. All of a sudden... And then, so I was like, these are just weird thoughts, like feelings I was having. And then, like, a week would go by, and I remember, it was in August, it was in the middle of August, and I remember, like, feeding Hayes in his room. And I was sitting in his room, and I had, like, a bottle. Yeah. And I'm telling you, like, I've never had a religious type of experience before. Yeah. But there was, like, a heavy presence, which is crazy.
Chills,
a heavy presence, like, something isn't right to the point where it gave me like what word, like, peace.
Oh wow.
Like, it was very
like a surety.
Yeah, like, it's gonna be okay. I got your hand, girl. Like, we're gonna do. But it was the craziest thing. It was like a being, like, and actually, like, I didn't see anybody. It was just like in my hallway and in this doorway. It was this power, like, took my whole body. Like, I was like something. So and it kept happening. Like, it was, like, constant. And I would pray. Like, I've always prayed, but I've never, like, been over, you know, I don't know. But we had this, like, communication going. Something was going on. So then after that kept happening, I was like, I need to just, it kept weighing on me. Like, make a call, like, try to get in. Yeah. Long story short, I finally call my OBGYN. I'm like, can we just, like, triple check this? Like, I just don't feel like something's right. Yeah. Go in. She's like, I want you to go see our oncologist surgeon. Like, she's a breast cancer surgeon.
So you want somebody different.
Totally different. Yeah. She was like, So, and this appointment's like a month later. You know, she's really hard to get into. Yeah. And in the meantime, we have this massive hurricane that hits us. We have to leave town. Yes. It was the big one. So it, like,
put the city underwater.
Right, like, the whole thing. It was really bad.
What was the name of that one?
I can't
horrible is that?
No. But it was in,
it was
during that period of time. And my appointment happened to be the week, like, we got back on a Sunday and happened to be that Monday. Okay. So I felt horrible for all the people that had appointments. Like, it could have been a week earlier and I would have pushed it out even further. So I go to see her and I'm like, you know, hopefully it's nothing. I just wanted her to tell me it's nothing. I was like, oh, like, it's nothing. It's nothing, right? So I'm sitting there and she's, like, feeling, and she's like, I don't think it's anything. She's like, let's do an ultrasound just to check. Yeah. So, and even Mason's with me to the point where he's like in the room and they're doing an ultrasound. And she's like, let's just do a biopsy, but I don't think it's anything. I really think, she's like, I'm never going to see you again. Like, this is good. So I'm like, you're like, okay. And Mason's literally in the corner, like, on my phone. And I'm like, don't look. And my boob's out. And she's like, biopsy, like, you know, numbing me and going in and taking. Yeah. Anyways.
Is that, like, just a needle, like a syringe?
No, they had to cut. They had to cut in. Okay. And...
Okay.
I know, it was so and then grind it.
It was like right in a regular.
Yeah, like, just, I'm like, this is.
Like, what is happening?
Yes. And so then the next day, she's like, well, no, like, the next day. And of course, I'm like, waiting. And I'm sitting there once again. It's like that seat. Yeah. I'm in the couch with Hayes in his room. Yeah. And her cell phone calls me. And she's like, so I am so taken back by this because come to find out you have invasive ductal carcinoma. You have breast cancer. And I'm like, what?
Were the kids with you when you found
out? Hayes was with me. Okay. Nick was outside with our neighbors. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, okay, like, what
do I do?
Does that mean? Like, and she knew all the details. She was like, it's estrogen based, like, all this stuff. Sure. Like, she knew.
Just
and
I'm like, talking.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know how to process this at all. Like, I'm just sitting there like, okay. Yeah. Well, she's like, so come in the office tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. And then I call Nick upstairs and I'm like, it was just so crazy. I honestly.
Were you crying? Because you're not one to cry.
No, I'm not. But I was very, No, my crying started when so I was so lucky. So Mace was with me, like I told you, but he was he's in year-round school.
Yes.
He was on break for like another week and a half, and I leaned on him. He was my so
and he was 6 at the time.
But he was like my, and then Nick. So what was so sad about Nick is that as soon as we get back and I'm finding out the stuff, he's opening this restaurant. Like,
he has to go. Like,
has to be there. Yeah. And so it was chaos. Like, we were, like, he couldn't be there. And he is, like, the ultimate, like, love bug. Like, he's like, I'll do everything for you. And he just couldn't be there. And it was fine because I had Mason.
Sure.
So I leaned on him. And I think I needed that time alone, though.
Yeah.
Without
like the probing of questions,
right?
Or like
just
the what
like,
if,
and then
like,
I just need, and I'm I like to be alone, so I just need that time.
Space.
And so when Mace would go to bed, I was like, okay. Anyways, but so no, I wasn't crying. I called Nick because he was outside and I didn't want to come outside of my neighbors.
Sure.
Breast cancer.
not a
we ordered pizza.
Oh my gosh, right.
So but my whole thing was, I showed up the next day to the appointment. My neighbor watched Mason, and I was like, am I gonna die? Like, I don't know.
What is this?
Yeah, to me, I'm so, I didn't know. Sure. I didn't know what.
And this is not hereditary?
No.
Right, so this is, it's not like your mom had it and you were like, maybe if this could happen to me.
Yeah.
Right, so you had no one to base it off of.
No, and the only thing that they based it off, they were like, so my dad had melanoma a year before.
Okay.
At the same time, and so they were like, well, sometimes BRCA gene can fall out, it's one of those things where if the male has melanoma, it could. Anyways, I ended up not having the BRCA gene, but basically, I walk into the appointment and she's like, "Do you want kids?" That's the first question. I'm like, "I can have kids?" I was like, "After all this, I can have kids?" Like, I was gonna
but I was gonna die.
Yeah, I was like, I'm like, oh my god, where's this conversation going?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I had all these tests, she's like, we got all the tests done and all this stuff done, and. What do you want to do as far as surgery goes? And so I just had to do a lot of research on my own.
Develop a plan.
Yeah, doctors kind of so anyway, so I'm trying to think where to go with this, but so I met my surgeon, she was going to do my surgery, and then I met with an oncologist who's now my treatment person.
Right.
And
so fast forward to so this, you get the diagnosis.
Yeah.
Then how soon after? Because I felt like it happened so fast.
Yeah.
That you had to go into surgery.
Yeah, it was so quick.
And then you
so
tell
I
me
had
what the
double
timeline was.
So
you find out
the very first, it was October 2nd, like Breast Cancer Awareness Month, bam. Then November 5th, I have the double mastectomy.
Yep.
And then we did reconstruction. So Christmas week.
Right.
So I had
before the end of the year.
I know. I had to get it in. So my thing was after my double mastectomy, they do a test now that can tell you the probability of it coming back.
Oh, interesting.
For estrogen-based breast cancer. So I had that done. It's called Oncotype test, and I had that done, and my percentage was higher than what we had thought it was going to be, which then decides my treatment plan, because then, for example, some people decide, okay, we need to do chemo, or not, and I was teetering.
Wow.
What do we do? Do I want chemo? Or do I think I can? Maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
So Christmas week, I'm making a decision because she was like, either we start chemo as soon as Christmas is done, whatever, or you're getting your reconstructive surgery. So I had a reconstruction at the end of December. Right. So I opted Christmas Eve. I'm on the phone with my oncologist. And I'm like, what do I do? And she's like, I can't tell you.
You have to make this decision.
Right. It's something you have to make. So I decided to do a more aggressive hormone therapy. And I'm like, fingers crossed. No. Chemo. I decided not to do chemo. And then I did reconstruction the last day of
How much play did Nick have in that conversation? Was he were you babe, what do I do? Or do we make this decision together? Or was it another I have to go with my gut?
I have to go with my gut. It was I had to go with what my doctor was kind of telling me, and then my mom's best friend had breast cancer. I was trying to go off of people that I kind of knew that had gone through it. It was rough. I mean, I don't even. I was I don't know. I'm just gonna have to feel like I will not regret my decision, and that's what I did.
And after, you said, you had that experience with the heavy presence. Did you ever experience that again, during this process? Did you ever feel like there was affirmation on which one you chose?
Yeah, I totally
Okay.
feel like I don't
Okay.
regret. Like if
Just
if
so
we were to
much.
come back today,
Yeah.
I wouldn't regret
Wow.
what I did at
Okay.
all. And
Okay.
I feel like I did. I prayed over it. I was like,
Yeah.
what do I do? But for some reason, I was like, I don't know, because it was
Right.
such a teeter. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do chemo.
Yeah. I need
but
clarity.
yeah, I was like, am I like making my decision because I just don't want to go through chemo, or like,
I know.
but
And you're so young, so it's like,
well, that was the other thing. It was a
Yeah.
lot of factors.
Yeah.
So, but then no. So then first week of January, I started my
Yeah.
treatment plan, and
ugh.
yes,
It's crazy. So then, and now we're,
and then the restaurants opened at the end of October, so that was going great, and I mean it was going great,
Yeah.
and it was all.
and then you work from home, so you were working through it.
So I was
for the
working
most
from home.
part.
I did take time
A
off.
little bit of time. Okay.
Yeah, from like the surgeries.
Yeah.
So I couldn't hold Hayes for
I
months
remember that
after
being so
twice. So I
hard.
was like, "Yay, my baby!"
Yes.
So
and,
that was
and that
going on.
duration was a pretty long, like a couple months, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It's a month after each, so like
Yeah.
a month and a half after each surgery.
And did you ever have like a moment of like full on breakdown?
Yeah,
You
I did. But
was it after
you know
all
what?
that?
It was after everything,
Wow.
and I realized it was January. Really, like of course I did. Like the first week I found out, I was like, I probably cried so much that I couldn't like cry anymore.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
sure.
this is okay.
Yeah.
It is what it
But
is.
I have to do it. Like I just gotta go.
Right. I was
Yeah.
like, okay. And then what was I gonna say? Oh, and then January it
Yeah.
hit. Like it's because I realized it was because I was with doctors so much.
Yeah.
Like they were holding my hand. You know, like
Yeah.
they had like
It's
I was
amazing.
like in the nest with the mommy
Yes.
bird, and they were like,
Yeah.
we got you. And then you're good. Like you're on your own. Like you're
Wow.
good. And it's like you're
Okay.
being sent off.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Like-
learning to fly, and I'm like freaking out.
Sure,
you know.
sure.
So
that was like really like the catapulting point too for like you. I mean, you already had been a healthy, conscious person. I feel like you were.
Yeah.
I felt like you.
No,
always were.
I mean, I wasn't like.
And
gross.
Mason played a huge part in that, I think, because he always had like food
Yes.
allergies and stuff like that you had to be conscientious of,
Mhm.
which then changed your diet a bit. But
Right.
then you were like, okay, during this hormone therapy,
yeah,
you took
yeah.
on like a head-on, I'm going whole.
I did.
Right?
Yeah. I
So
switched
explain
it.
that process. 'Cause I thought that was a huge undertaking in and of itself. Because it's a
was.
lifestyle change.
Well, what's so crazy is like I feel like when someone diets to lose weight, like I told this to my mom because I was
Yeah.
like, I feel like when someone like it's not a diet, yeah, it was like
Yeah.
a lifestyle change, but
Yeah.
essentially it's the same thing. It's just like how it's in your
The
head, you know,
mindset,
like
totally.
if you're trying to lose weight, it's like, no, where's my brown? Like where's my cookies
Yeah.
or
Yes,
whatever,
yes,
or whatever
yes.
it is,
Yeah.
and then. For this, I was like scared straight. Like I was
Sure.
like,
yeah, that's a good
and I read
analogy.
a ton of great books, like,
Yeah.
and that was like researching, like just
Cool.
educating myself
Yeah.
helped. But
Yeah.
I was like, this is the only thing that I can control.
Yeah.
And even though it I can't say that because it does have a huge factor,
Oh,
but
yeah.
like, even if it were to come back, at
Yeah.
least I felt like I had done everything that I humanly possibly could have done,
Sure.
and that's it.
Yeah.
And then just like, oh yeah, the researching I was doing, I was like, I can't be eating
Sure. Any of the
almost any. It's like, but to the point where I've like done so much, like educating myself
Yeah.
that I am like, okay, basically I can't eat anything.
Yeah.
You know what I
Which
mean?
is obviously really hard. So
I know.
would you consider yourself in any of the brackets of like vegan?
I was vegan.
Okay, that was vegan.
I know. So I kind of like
Sure, laxed on.
right. So I was definitely vegan
Okay.
for a while.
Yeah.
And then it was more I would eat some, like then I started eating some fish.
Yep.
Everything's strictly organic. Unless I'm
Yeah,
like eating
sure.
out and I can't control
Sure,
that,
sure,
then
sure.
it's like everything's
Yeah.
organic.
Yeah.
And I won't let my kids also eat anything that's not
Yeah.
organic. Like
Yep.
I'm very like hardcore about that
Yeah.
now. But I'll still give them, like I wasn't eating meat. I haven't had red meat in
Yeah.
over a year.
Yeah.
But I started recently eating organic chicken.
Okay.
But it's rare. It's like
Sure,
and it's
sure,
it's
sure.
like if I'm making a big soup for everyone,
Okay.
and because it got to a point where like this summer, or like this past year, I was like making so many different like them meal,
Oh
them
my
meal,
gosh,
you know,
yeah.
and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is crazy.
And that's honestly always the problem when, especially if it's like a health-oriented diet,
Mhm.
dietary need. It's hard because you're like, well, only that person has that problem. My
Right.
husband likes this, he likes this, she likes that. It's so hard to be a mom in that environment. And I'm not
Yeah.
even the cook in my household, and I still think it's hard.
It
So
is,
for
though.
my husband, he's just like, nah, they'll eat when they're hungry, and
I
you
know.
can. Our rule is that like they can have anything out of the fridge at any point in the day because everything in the fridge is raw.
Is like good. Yeah.
There's
yeah.
nothing in there. I mean, we don't like keep cold like crap in there.
No,
everything is from the grocery store. It's going to go bad in 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
So that's our rule. And like some people don't choose, like you're not allowed to touch the fridge or go in the kitchen without asking mommy and daddy. But like,
oh no,
we're just like, you have control over that. Now the cupboard, that's another question, because everything in there for the most part we have to cook for them. Like, they're, you know, it's not something that they can just like pop open a bar. We just don't really have stuff like that. And if we do, it's like granola and it's way up high. So they don't have access to it. But I just think it's so hard, and I can't imagine from like the health conscientious part to have to walk through that. And now
it was very crazy. Like it was it was, but it was so easy. Yeah, because I was just scared.
Yeah,
right, I was just like done. Like I do not want to go through this again. And if I can help myself, and then like my long-term health too. Oh my! And then my kids. You know, I'm like, oh my god, the stuff that
could happen.
Our kids eat. I'm like, oh, no,
it's so bad. So also within that like healing journey, because I think this is such a valuable part of my healing journey and my own experiences, and they weren't even health oriented, is the like a community. So like, did you like find other young survivors or people walking through it that you could like talk to, even on like Instagram? Was there like a hashtag to follow?
I found, honestly, when I was looking, it wasn't, I felt like there was not a lot on Instagram. Okay. Like I was like searching for, I was like, someone please be like me, you know? And there weren't a lot. I had like, people just started pouring out, you know, like they just were there to help. Like they're like, I know someone. And then it's like to the point where I'm like, so many people have been through this. Like there's so many people. So it's tough because I just knew a few people that had gone through it. And, but now I make it a point, like I talk to so many people on Instagram about what they're going through and what, cause it's like, you don't have anyone to help you decide these things. It's like I'm going to help. It's like I'm going to tell someone what they should do, but it's just a comfort thing. Like,
and you're doing well, and you're like living, and you're like,
like
you're
this
okay,
is, I'm like,
it's you're normal,
and
like,
it's also like and the biggest thing for me and with these people, it's like, okay, you have a ton of anxiety, you know, it's like, these are like, last year was not a healing year for me. It was a processing year. And I made it a point, like, it was just to process it all. Like, I had to, like, mentally and not freak out when I was going to a doctor's office or just go there. I would just go and start, and I don't...
Because treatment was how often?
It's still, so I take, it's a form of it's a form of chemo, but pill form, so I take it every day. Okay. And then my shots are every 3 months. It used to be every month.
Right, I was gonna say, I feel like you were always at the
doctor. And I could do it still that way, but I was just like, can I come out here less, because this is like miserable, and there's a ton of
mental
like,
processing of that.
It was very hard to I was trying to like navigate it all, and then I started feeling really my side effects were really bad from it, so then I was trying to get used to that too, and it was just a lot with work and the kids, and then me just trying to, like, my body was completely changing. Like, I was like, what is happening? So, so, I don't know, I had that comfort, and then January hit, and I was just, like, on my own, so I was learning how to process it all, and then I started to get all these side effects, and then another medical issue happened in August. I think I told you about it.
I know.
Really? I think I told you that I had blood clots in both my lungs.
No.
Yes.
I didn't
was in the
know
hospital. Yes. Oh God. I know. It's not going to be like, guess what?
Oh my God.
Yes.
I don't think I knew this. So how long were you in the hospital?
Was
it that's a side effect too?
Yes. Okay. And I didn't know. So I was having these crazy chest pains.
Okay.
And I was like, I know I get like anxious. Like I've never been once again. Like I was never
like
anxious
thing.
Yes. Yeah. And I knew like in July, so I actually I took myself to the ER once. Yeah. Back in May. I was like, I'm having these horrible chest pains. Yeah. And they took all these tests and like, you're fine, go on. And I was like, it's weird though. Like it's not like, I feel like it's like I'm having a heart attack. And I was like, maybe I'm just having like panic attacks. Like that's
and
I was
usually
what
it looks like,
Totally. And then I knew July was coming up. In July, I felt very like kind of panicky just because it was like my 1 year.
Right.
Yes. And I've never associated things like that, but it was happening, and I couldn't. I was like, I gotta just roll with it. Wow. So, and they prescribed me medication for anxiety because I needed it.
Sure. Okay.
Which was great, and I am happy to take it when I need it. I don't need it like hardly ever now, but when I need it, I need it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna take some medication, whatever. So July was happening. I was like, I'm getting crazy chest pains, really, really, really bad. The medication wouldn't even help like touch it, and I was like, what's going on? So I got like strep throat, and at one point, one night, I was so sick. I was like in bed, and I was like, my chest hurts so bad. I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack. Like I was like, do I need to call? And I had strep throat, so I was in the room like alone. I was like, Nick, do not get sick. So sleep with Mason or whatever. And I was like, do I need to go like call ER? Like I mean, like ambulance. Like I was like, I'm freaking out. And then it'd be fine, whatever. And so the next morning, I was like, I'm driving myself to the ER. So I drive myself. I'm like, Nick, I'm going to the ER again. He was like, just go. Like, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
I actually worked out that morning because I was like, I feel like I need to like
move.
Just get like some air. Yes.
Oh my God.
So I show up there and they're like, they do all these tests and they're like, well, one of these they have a blood test that can tell you if you maybe have some blood clots. Sure. Which I had no idea.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's highly likely that you might, but it could just be because you're heightened. It's here, you know. And at this point, I'm so, kind of like emotionally numb.
Right.
With stuff like this that I was just like on my computer, my work computer, I was like, it's good, it's all good. And literally I'm calling Nick, so I get a CT scan. They're like, we're gonna do a CT scan.
Oh my God,
and they see, I am like, it's just no big deal. I got like whatever, like
Oh my gosh.
And then I get a CT scan and I'm like waiting, and he comes in and he's like, so you have blood clots in both of your lungs. And he was like, we need to do an immediate, like they put this huge shot in my stomach and they were like, we're taking you to the hospital. And I'm like 30 minutes away from the hospital because I drove to this like super like
nice, like
quick, but nice. It's quicker because it's like out of like in the middle of nowhere, ER. And so they were like, you can't leave, like you're going straight to the hospital. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what? No.
Yeah, like so mad. Like how?
And I knew, and we had booked a Disney World trip, so I was like,
that was your thing.
I'm like, am I gonna be able to fly? Like, straight up, that's the first thing I asked. I was like, can I fly and go?
Yeah. We've got things to do.
Totally. I was like, no, why? And it was Hayes' birthday week that week, and I was just like, this is annoying. So anyways, they put me in the hospital.
And it was just his birthday week, and it was just like the one. Like,
I know, it was all like August. I was like, August is kind of, it's my birthday month. I know, and it's like a rocky month. But so that thing happened, I was just like, oh my God. And so anyways, I'm fine. So I had to take Xarelto because I'm like an 80-year-old man, and I'm
I don't even know what that is, but
I don't know. It's like a blood thinner, like those commercials.
Okay.
Where I'm like, oh, like I'm like my bones hurt and like all this stuff, and it was like the number one side effect of my medication.
And like you just didn't think anything of it?
I had no idea.
Honestly,
I had no idea. And if I had known that, like now I know.
Right.
Switch my medication.
I would never know that like a side effect of blood clots was chest pain.
It's the weirdest thing.
Because you would think it would be like
it could be. It depends on where they are. Like it could be in your legs, you know?
Sure, well then it would be like
mine was like right here. And I was like, well, I had a lot of surgery.
Right.
And I do get anxious.
Because that's what would freak me out. I would think like, oh my gosh,
I'm
it's the surgery.
So then after that, I was like nonstop. I'm telling you, in August, I was like, I'm having a heart attack. I had Google on my phone though. I had Google. I was like, is it back in my lungs?
Right.
Like I thought it was like a reoccurrence, and I had like Googled in my phone like lung cancer side effect. Like I mean, symptoms.
Yeah, because
you're like a crazy, and I'm like, oh my God. So then, it's so funny because like say in November I go for like a follow-up appointment, and so I'm on all these medications, whatever, and I'm sitting there and I'm like just sitting in this doctor's office, and he's looking at me and he was like he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm good, like I'm fine, you know. And I felt like I was just a mess, but I wasn't too, I don't know, I was just like, so much is all heavy, and I don't know, I'm like, I feel not okay. And he was just like, you need to maybe go talk to someone.
I was just gonna ask that.
He was like, you need to like he's like, oh my God, like he's like, my daughter is your age. He was like, I can't imagine what you've been through health wise. And he's just like looking at me, and I'm like, I was like, I sat there and I was like, don't cry. I was like, I'm not a cry. I'm like, don't cry. I was
takes
like,
a lot
I literally
to
went to my car and I was like hysterical crying. I was
Oh.
like, I needed it. That it was
Yeah.
almost like I
Right.
had chest pains, but I
Yeah.
also think I had like major anxiety. I didn't
Sure. Of
really
all the
realize
things going
right,
on.
and it was just like,
No, I might have remembered as you're saying that. I'm like, maybe I saw that a picture of you after it that I had gotten sent saying that you were in the hospital.
I don't know, but I wasn't.
everything was
no one really
okay?
knew. Like it was
Okay,
very like
okay.
Nick and I, like Nick won't tell anyone and then I'm like, I'm not want to
So
be like,
we're
oh,
now, what, 4 months past that experience?
So
where
my New
are
Year's
we? 'Cause
resolution.
I'm like, are you?
I know, no,
I'm like, what do I need to do for you?
No, mine. So December, I was like, I am over this. Like, I am so past the point. I was like, I need to start. Because then and he was also like, you're still healing. You've had this crazy surgery that's happened to your chest wall. Like everything is still like healing. And I was like, okay, I just need. I'm like, I need to do something.
Yeah.
So I was trying to find like someone to talk to, some kind of someone, and then I was like, I'm gonna start getting massages.
Yeah.
Like maybe that will help. I was like, I just need to do things
to like
for me.
decompress.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my like New Year's
self-love.
resolution. Yeah, I was like, this year's about healing.
Good.
Like I needed to process all that last year, and
definitely
this year, like sometimes I feel like I don't even think about it, which is crazy.
Wow. And you're like, yes.
But I'm also like, I don't know if it's just like I've like I'm like
suppressed
that's
it
gonna be
so much.
right. And then I was like, I need to like, I think last year I could like try to suppress it a lot, and finally I was like, I need to start living like understanding.
Have you still not actually like sat and
I found
talked with
someone.
therapist?
I found a great.
Because I'm like, I feel like we should still work on this.
No, so I did.
Good.
I found an amazing. I saw this girl's story and whatever, and I followed into this like hole, and I found this amazing girl, and I've actually been to her once.
That's okay.
I want to see her more,
yeah.
but it happened to be, it was great. Like we hit it off, but then I've also been getting massages, and I started to go to physical therapy too, because my doctor was like, you need to start working on, like, I'm just starting to feel like I need to continue. So it's all like new stuff, like new steps.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm like being, like my hands being held and like
good.
Yes, so it's been
It's
crazy.
just like amazing. I'm like gonna hug you. I love you. It's just so much. And
I
it's
feel
hard
really good
as a friend because like I'm there for you. Like I remember Lauren and I coming down and like you sharing like the intimacy of the story, but like there's really no excuse. But it's hard to like grasp that for somebody else other than to just be like, I'm praying for you and I love you and like I hope you're okay.
Like what do you say? I know.
It's like so hard, and then I don't want to always talk to you like you are a wounded bird. I want to just be like, how's motherhood? Like, how's being a wife? How's Zeke's? How's work? Because those are other parts to you. And I feel like even when somebody has something like really traumatic like that happen, it sometimes becomes like the only